to Music Train, episode 9. My name is Vessi Mink. I'm so happy to be with you here today for episode 9, season 3 of the Music Train. We have a spectacular show for you tonight. I mean, seriously spectacular. Before we get to our guests, I would like to give a big up to Metaverse Generation, Mr. BK Han out of Singapore, who is a co-founder, artistic director, and executive producer of this show. Without you, Mr. Han, this show would never have happened. I just thank you so much to the team, everybody that's made it possible for this show to continue. And without further ado, I'd like to just tell you that the two guests that I have here today are I'm huge fans of them. We have an amazing award-winning actress, director, producer, writer, and publisher. I would love to bring to the stage Maria SOCCOR. Welcome to the Music Train.
Hello, 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 Bessie. How are you?
I'm doing so well. It's wonderful to see you. We've been meaning to do this for a minute.
You know, for a long time, and I don't know if your viewers know this, but I think it was really incredible how Jason Rothberg brought us together during the pandemic, and your music with a great group of musicians that you put together, and the way you built all of that together is literally one of the theme songs for one of my upcoming films. So thank you, good sister, for that, because that was amazing, the way that all came together musically, you know, during one of the most unpredictable times, you know, in our life.
It was incredible. It's crazy because I had no idea that was going to happen. You know, stumbling on Clubhouse after a 3-day sync immersion, meeting Jason Rothberg on Clubhouse, and then, you know, meeting you, giving directorial briefs live to people ready to like submit their music for sync opportunities. It was incredible. I mean, you have a illustrious life. You've done so much. I mean, you're an actress, you own a publishing company, you're a director, you have multiple films you're doing, documentaries. What would you say is your passion project?
Well, I'm not necessarily a publisher. I do have some publishing rights to some music, but I think when I look at great projects or things that I'm involved in that have been really passionate in my life, I'd have to say it was some of the stuff that I've created. I think making a feature film is one of the most difficult forms of media you could do, but I would have to say making feature documentaries, especially I make cinematic documentaries that are very high level because of the way we shoot, the way, you know, the everything that's kind of laid out, from the lighting to the camera to etc. I would have to say making documentaries have been the most wonderful experience, challenging, just, you know, jumping over obstacles and getting to that finish line. I would have to say making documentaries is probably the most compelling thing I've done in my lifetime.
Amazing. And you started off as an actress, am I correct?
Actually, as a dancer.
As a dancer.
So okay, I belong. Yeah, I belonged to a dance company when I was younger. And in my mind, I thought that, you know, that was going to segue me into becoming an actor. And then I really studied acting seriously in the city in a conservatory called HB Studios. And then from there, you know, I was on stage for a while, and I've done Broadway, off Broadway. And during my younger years, I developed something called an arrhythmia. So my heart would just rapidly race. So that took me off the stage. And it stopped me from being a member of my dance company, only because I just didn't feel that it was fair if I'm going to do something and then have to stop. I mean, of course, you have stand-ins, etc. But when you're working at a really high level, it's very difficult to commit to something like that. And, you know, so then anyway, in 2018, I had the heart ablation. I've been an actor all my life. I've left the dance stage, unfortunately, though I still am a dancer. But as time went on, what was really cool was that now I'm back on stage and the ablation is gone and I'm healthy. But, you know, it took some time because back then that type of surgery was sort of experimental. So, but yeah, so I'm really great now. But I started out as a dancer and then I became a filmmaker.
Yes.
For the past 15 years.
That's how I remember when we were in Clubhouse. Just it was incredible. You're working on a documentary right now called Freestyle. Is that correct? Could you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so I'm writing and directing a documentary called Freestyle Music: The Legacy. And when people hear freestyle, automatically they think, oh, that's hip hop music, you know, and it's really not. But some of the first Latino, you know, when you say Latin hip hop, a lot of Latinos were there at the inception of hip hop, right? As well as African-American artists, which were in the Bronx as well as East Harlem. So if you weren't a rapper and you were Latino, mostly you were going to go into freestyle music, and they called it romantico. They didn't know what it was.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, like so it's cool because Sapphire, one of the major artists from the 1980s, did the first cover of Spin magazine, and it was just right there. It was like Latin hip hop, and inside you found Noel, you found Little Louis Vega. It was incredible. Like the artists that were mentioned in there, eventually sequel. So this really covers the African American artists that were from Miami and the Latino artists from New York and some from Chicago that created this music called freestyle music. And although they've been in the business for 30 plus years, Grammys never really acknowledged them. They were on the Billboard Top 100 charts, Billboard Dance,
Why does that happen? Oh, I'm so sorry. What's
No,
up
no,
with the Grammys? What's up with the Grammys?
I don't know. I think that when you look at genres of music, whether you're doing singles, you have several singles, or you have albums, they do sell out as groups in stadiums and so on and so forth. I think what it is about the music was that what I've learned, and even just going back to Arthur Baker Studios and Shakedown Studios, where they were a part of that movement.
Wow.
And a lot of them, like the Latin Rascals, actually did a lot of editing, for Duran Duran and so on and so forth. And they were using these 808 machines, Roland 1200s. They really set the foundation for pop music, and they're not really getting the credit that's due. And there was another group, Leather and Lace. They used to open for Madonna, and so this whole genre of music that was so popular in the 80s and 90s, from that music spun off pop music, and now there's like this whole revival of freestyle music. The George Lamonts, the Judy Torreses, Expose, TKA. Cynthia, I mean, like it goes on, Niasia, like it's amazing, like these artists, Alicia, like I could go down the line.
They need to be spotlighted, and you're making the film, so that's incredible. How long have you been working on it?
I've been working on it, developing it for about a year and a half, and we really started filming in 2021 during the pandemic. But that's the thing about the film that's so important, is that I want to make sure that we get all of the artists involved. We have Stevie B, like Lisette Melendez, like legends.
Wow.
Clive Davis, actually. We have a record executive, David German, that was at Arista, who's the head of dance music, that actually was involved through this whole Taylor Dane phase and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So I won't release the sizzle until we get all of the artists on board, and we make sure that we highlight who they are, because this is a very stylized historical piece.
Absolutely. And I just want to throw up the banner here for everybody that's watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have Maria SOCCOR here. You can find her at I am Maria SOCCOR on Instagram, or mariasoccorproductions.com. Your production house sounds pretty rad. It sounds like it handles a lot of things.
Yeah.
You're like constantly working. I know that you're constantly working, doing, inspiring, creating. And I just don't know where do you find time to like take a moment? I mean, is there a moment where Maria SOCCOR is not like totally like in her work?
Yes.
Do you ever get to chill?
Yes, I put that in my schedule.
Okay, good. All right. Right on.
Yeah, but you know what the secret to all of this is? And some people say, oh, well, how do you do all of this, and how do you do too much? I mean, do not underestimate the multi-hyphenate. The thing is, it's all about how you spend your time and organize your time. And I think that when you're creating, you really have to take so much. You have to have a huge focus on making sure that you really are also just working on your craft. Making sure that you're constantly working on a project, like you're looking at it with new eyes, with new thoughts, with new processes. It's so important. It's funny. I just took up a class. There's a foundation. I want to give a shout out to the Penumbra Foundation. And what they do is they do so many like different types of photography processes, and you learn about processes. So I started taking a mark making class, and for our viewers, I hope you know what mark making is, and you'll learn more about it. But what it did was it had me sit down and focus and really just map things out and take my time. And it's, been one of the most exhilarating experiences that just got me focused again and just like put me back into the work.
And I don't know what a mark, I'm sorry, I'm going to be the one to say it. I do not know what that is, could you please school me?
Sure. I think if you think of artists, when you think of mark making, you can do it on photographs, you can do it on art pieces. Kasuma is one of, someone who's like a master mark maker, if you want to consider that. But you're drawing dots, lines with expressions in the work. And so what I did was, when I thought about the film process, I can see film process as something that you can see and you can connect to, right? Like this. But sort of like NFTs or things that are tangible, when I take stills for my films, and then I do a mark making process over it. So someone like you can actually hold it in your hand, and I think it just makes it more intimate. You're doing all different types of explorations when you're mark making. And I've been doing it for a while. So it's just something that has really inspired me to really focus on it after taking, the process in the class, is just to like really focus on that. And it's opened me up so much to other things.
It sounds really interesting, and I'm still kind of not sure exactly what it is.
I'll
Only
send you
because, like,
something.
okay, yes, please do.
I'll send you in the reviews a link so you could check it
Okay.
out. So
All right. I mean, tangible. It's going to be in my hand then. I mean, you mentioned
yes.
NFTs and digital assets. The hot topic word. Even though this year I know that the hot cake is AI. AI is the hot cake, and the word on the street is people don't start to just jump into those tools. They're going to be left behind because we need the people to know how to use the tools. How do you feel about AI, Maria? You're a filmmaker. You're an actress. How do you feel about the strike? How do you feel about everything having to do with that? Are you like pro like AI? Are you kind of just not sure? What do you think?
It's not that we don't, for actors, the thing is, you want to think about our images, right? Where are they going to be? And we have to worry about A-list actors and actors all across the board, all the way to background actors. If in fact I'm allowing you to use my image, there should be some compensation for that. We're a
Absolutely.
residual based type of industry. So I think that when producers are taking advantage of actors, and especially when it's mainly the studios, I mean, what we're asking for is such a small percentage
Yeah.
of acknowledgement from the studios that it wouldn't even put a dent in what they're doing. But I think what all artists have to know is, it's not so much that we're worried about, we're not worried about distribution companies. What we're worried about are activist investors, and those are the stockholders, right? Like the shareholders, the boards, and so on and so forth, that really don't want to share the money. They want us to work longer and harder, and they want us to make less. Now, those are for actors. Now, with writers, it's not saying that we don't want to work with AI. I think AI is a great tool. And as artists, the one thing that we have to learn is to adapt, right? I mean, who would have ever thought from a typewriter now we're using a computer? And so I think that, in my opinion, what we need to do is we need to learn how to adapt and just kind of learn new technology and see how we can incorporate in what we're doing. What I feel about AI with writing is that it's not that we don't want to use it or collaborate or which one or the other. It's that we have to kind of figure out how to work together and also make a living properly.
Right.
Like, I make a great living, but I think that other writers should have that opportunity to work with AI and use technology. And that's how I use technology to right now I'm making 3 different films.
Amazing.
And it's, again, the focus is because of technology. About 15 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I would only work on one.
I was going to say, did you think, and by the way, studios, give them what they want. If you're listening, it's just a little tiny little thing. You should do it. Studios. Okay. They're like, all right, I think I'm getting the message from AI that the studios are going to give the actors and actresses and writers what they want. Good job, guys. Let's move on.
I don't know if they are, but you know what I would encourage them to do? I would encourage them to really understand where we are. You know how they say in Wall Street, one of the most successful traders or whatever will start in a mailroom. We'll come down at the ground floor, see what we do during prep, see what we do during development, see what it's like on set when those gaffers are putting the work together and the DPs are really trying to focus with their eyes, and we have things happening around us. Like, see that and understand why we want our wages, why we want to be paid fairly.
Yes, and you should be. And I think as cool as AI is and as amazing the things that are coming with it, I think it can only become more amazing if the tools are, embraced by the industry. And ultimately, I mean, it really is amazing that the industry is what it is today. I know people talk about, different facets, how it went here, how it went here. I just think that it's amazing that movies were ever made. Let's go back to Charlie Chaplin, the beginning, right? The silent films. I mean, it's just incredible how far we've come. And
Yeah,
I'm
and
just
he's a
so
great
excited to hear.
filmmaker. He's a
Yeah,
great filmmaker, right? Charlie Chaplin is a
yeah,
great filmmaker. So look
he's
at how
amazing.
he, it's progress.
That's it. It's progress. Our new show. We got to have a
Onwards and
show called.
upwards.
Yes, thank you. Maria Sikor in the house and the music trade. I've got somebody very special here today.
Yes.
I know you know who it is, but I don't know if everyone else knows who it is. I would love to bring the great Robyn Charles, singer, songwriter, publisher, producer, NFT creator on stage. I'm so excited to introduce you to. She was on the show a few months ago, and Robyn's here again today. I love this woman, and I love you too, Maria. I'm just so excited to
Thank you,
introduce you both.
sister.
Welcome to the stage. Robyn Charles is in the house.
Yay.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
Hello.
It's good to see you again.
Good to see you two lovely people. Well, hello. Good morning, Maria.
Good
Yeah.
morning, Robyn. Hey.
I have my coffee too.
Talented.
It's talking about AI, so it's been this virtual voice that I haven't heard yet, and now I get to do that.
Yeah.
And then put a face to it. You're lovely.
You are too, sis. Nice to meet you this morning.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
What's
I'm
going
so
on,
excited.
Bess?
I'm going to let you two kind of get to know each other. I'm dropping down. That's right.
Nice to see you, Robyn. I know so much about your music. I love your music, and I've been listening to your, I go on your Instagram, and Vessi is such a great vehicle to connect people, and it's just so great to finally meet you, sis, in person.
You too. I have been listening to everything, and I'm just so curious. I have 100 different questions, and I won't berate you with them at first, though. I'll let you dig all into my business first, and then I'll berate you with questions.
I love that. I want to know, how did you get into music? Like, when did you decide that this was going to be what you wanted to do?
I don't know that I decided. I think like it decided for me. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about how we go through these ebbs and flows with music, where it's like, I'm all into it, I'm going to do it, it's right there. And then something goes wrong and it shifts you. So you fall out of it. And then you think, I'm doing the new thing, whatever the new thing is. And then all of a sudden, what you doing? You don't want to come play? We playing. You sure you don't want? You know you want to come play. And every single time it sucks you back in. So it's kind of like that, like from the very beginning. Like I was telling my mom last night when I was like 4, she bought me this dress so that I could go see my first performance of my dad. And what I loved about the dress was not the frill or the color or anything. It was the bells. It had little bells on it, and I liked hearing the bells jingle. And it never even dawned on me that that was my relationship to music that early, that I just wanted to hear it all the time. So I really feel like that's what it is more than anything. So I've been doing it since I was 4 years old, listening to bells on my dress.
And that's the thing, because of who your father is, right? Everybody thinks that this was just something that, children make their own path, just because you come from a musical family, a great musical family with a huge legacy. Legacy. So, but you make your own path.
Yeah.
So it was the bells, not so much dad.
When I was little, my stepdad raised me, and I hate to use that word because he's been the father in my life, if I'm being perfectly honest. But just to distinguish the two men, he was there, and I didn't really know that my dad was my dad. Even in going to that concert, I don't think I fully understood who this man was in my life, because I'm watching this other man do everything for me, help me get ready for school and make me breakfast and tell me jokes and, wipe my tears when I cry. So it's a thing where you can't build a relationship where there's no relationship to build. So the music was just there for me. My mother and my dad played records every day and all the time. And, you know, he would let me play his records as long as I didn't scratch any, right? Because he was going to scratch me if I did.
You knew
But
better.
we had all kinds of stuff like Lou Rawls and Shirley
Okay.
Caesar and Sam Cooke and Jackie Wilson and Stevie Wonder. So, you know, Aretha Franklin and Patti LaBelle, like this was the music that played around in our house every day. So my relationship to music really was mine. Like I couldn't give it to him, or he didn't own that for me. You know, I own that on my own.
That's beautiful, because to have that memory, you know, I think it's interesting if we went back and thought about why we do what we do, and what was the first memory that we came up with that really inspired us and motivated us to stay in something that we're constantly creating, is something maybe I need to explore a little bit later, because that's something I'm learning from you. Like, where does that come from? You know, what is that one thing that inspires us, that memory that has linked us to where we are today? And now you're releasing new music. And can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I really want to know more about your music and what you're releasing.
There's this thing.
Yes.
The way it works is you gotta be on pins and needles till that pain drops. But no, I can tell you a little bit about it. Like like we're in this Web3 space where, you know, we're dabbling in all things that are creative in a way to make them digital, a way to make them stretch and move and last for as long as possible, right? So in doing that, everything is a big reveal. Like we don't necessarily mean for it to be, but it is, because here's the place where it's exciting again. Like it's not exciting in Web 2. It's not exciting on social media, because like who's actually watching? You're begging everybody that follows you or that you follow to please watch. But here in this space, it's new. Everybody wants to know, what are you doing that's new? We want to be involved in what you're doing that's new. So as soon as you have it, it's a big reveal, but you can't just give it to them as soon as you have it. You have to package it properly, right? You want to make sure that you're giving them, like, you're not just going go in the kitchen and whip up breakfast and throw it on a paper plate and say, here, eat this. You know,
Maybe
I'm gonna do it for myself. But when you're serving someone else,
right.
you want it to have the right presentation. You want to be able to show the magic and love in it. And that's kind of what I'm doing with it. Like I it's not new to me, because it's music that's been in my heart forever. It's music that didn't have a place yet. So now it's found a home, and I want to let its adoptive parents, because you know I'm the biological, but I want the adoptive parents to get the right product, and I want them to love this child that I birthed for them, and I want them to care for it and it to have like a really valid meaning. So it's a great song. It's about my relationship with music.
Wait, I got another question for her, Vessi. May I ask it?
Of course.
Okay.
She said, get out. You in our place, Broom. You ain't supposed to be in. No, I'm just playing.
You just popped up in the vibe. No, I got this question.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead. Because all right. So last year, you want to go?
No, I'll wait after you.
Okay. So last year I was at the Monaco International Film Festival, and shout out to this documentarian Ashri, who was like amazing in that he was actually following an artist around, and he was going to turn their music into, I guess it was, I don't want to, if it was NFTs, but you know, you just had to buy the music in a certain way. And then I thought about, you know, now I'm all tying this together because we're talking about AI, we're talking about adapting, and I think as artists we need to adapt, right? And I said, wow, because music should be universal, we should all be able to take it, right, and listen to it and pick it up and not have to pay for it all the time, right? Like, and then I thought, well, you know, we should have access to it, because radio stations, whatever it may be. And then I thought about, this is something very new, very niche. Like, there is music that's being turned into NFTs, and you have to purchase it, and it's making people really be proactive in that space. And so I just maybe wanted to talk about you in that space, like as an artist, because as a filmmaker, I want everyone to see the films that I make or the branded work, you know, that because I write things that really inspire people. But maybe for both of you, what is that space like to just have, you know, not be able to hear maybe the song on the radio, but just hear it, you know, have to purchase it from an NFT and then have it very exclusive for us. So, you know, I want to know more about that space because that's something so new to me that I'm just curious. Maybe we can talk about it a little bit.
I'd love to, but I want Bessie to go first. She's the
I don't
seasoned
know.
representative of all things.
I don't know about that, but I did want to just add that you know, it's interesting about the tools that you know, keep getting kind of upgraded, and you listen to an NFT without purchasing it, and you know, I've been listening to people talk about NFTs kind of in a negative light on X, formerly Twitter, but I come from the place where like I met like hundreds and hundreds of NFT artists that are not scammers, that have like real beautiful work, like Tegu Ostenrick, who creates sustainable coral reef replications at the bottom of the Jakarta Sea to like bring back coral reef. You know, like I mean, like people like that, and people like ROBYN. So ROBYN, please, the mic is yours. Please do share about what you're doing with your digital assets and the culture cards and all the amazing things that you're doing. And you also have a weekly show. I just want you to like really get all that stuff in. And I'm kind of here just as like a little bird on a wire here. And I might just, you know, interject here and there, but I really love you two talking to each other. So thank you so much for both being here today. Give it up, Marie SOCCOR, ROBYN Charles in the House Music Train, season 9. Let's go.
Bessie, boy, how she fits it all in like 13 seconds. I have no idea. I could barely breathe and all that. And she's
I'm like, what'd you say?
Right.
Can you say that again?
You got it, though. You got it. I promise you got it.
Right. Right.
So like, I came into the Web3 space for the reason that we were saying earlier, is that there's just not enough reach to get to the people. Like, you know, it's really about finding your target market and just patronizing them, because thinking you're going to patronize the whole world is unlikely, and it's just kind of immature, because there's too many things going on to distract people's attention. And nobody, apparently, some documents said that 7 seconds is all we have as humans. So like at the end of the day, how are you going, all the things that are going on in every seconds all over the world. So this is a way to tap into a market of people that actually want to know who you are. They want to know what you're doing and why you're doing it, because they want to buy into you. They want to invest into you. And it's a bonus that you have some valuable artwork to share with them. And artwork is not just images. It's not just photos. It's not just sculptures. It's art. It's music. It's video. It's film. It's television. Like, it's all art. So figuring out a way to capture it where it can maintain the value and develop more value, because it's been curated by the person who gives it to you, who shares it with you. They take their time to give and master a piece of art, and then they share it with you and expect for you to treat it like it's valuable, like a vase that is, you know, made by Italian hands, by an 80-year-old woman who made it at home by herself with Italian hands and expensive glaze, and however that works. Like, it's precious to you, so you're going to care for it, as opposed to, let me just submit, and now I'm sending 100 billion copies to the rest of the world, and people are going to listen to it or not. When it was CDs, think about what we did with our CDs. We flung them across the room when we got mad. You know what I'm saying? We rubbed them on our shirt to clean them off. You know, we lit them with our, like, I was
supposed to sell the ones that were printed for my band, but people didn't, you know, I gave them.
I'll buy one.
This right. Back in the day. This is back in the day with CDs.
Don't have them no more.
No, but what you said was so compelling. What you said was basically, we can be our own curators.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think that's something that just struck me, because we're actually living people that can actually speak on our work, and you know, we can have somebody look at it, with all of this training and all of their books and their wonderful degrees, but now you're really understanding where we're coming from as artists. And that's why I'm taking even frame by frames, and when Bessie was telling me about, what you could do with your films on NFTs, it was mind blowing, because there's like these pieces, like these moments that mean something to me. And as the curator, as the director, as the writer, I can take these moments and we can store them, till the end of time, right? That's the thing in film, we do something called film preservation.
Mm-hmm.
So the films that I've made, in 2015, the ones that I did in 2010, they have to be preserved well. I mean, when we think about music, just kind of tying into to music, when we think about that, like I can tell you, just going to get archives from these artists from the 80s, it's not just them, but it's Michael Jackson, it's Madonna, the film stock that they used has deteriorated. It wasn't well preserved. And now what we're left with are just like remnants of music videos that we hope that can be preserved, and so on and so forth. But with NFTs, I know I've learned, and Vessi taught me this in the education, is that they live on. And these smaller pieces, which means our media is getting smaller. The moments are getting smaller, they're quicker, right?
And the digitizing of that slowly receding film, music, videos, even just a family tree. Let's say you're like, I want to interview my mother. I want to have an audio recording of it. I'm going to put a picture as the album cover. We're going to talk about stuff. We're going to have a conversation we've never had before. We're going to document it. For me, I really love digital assets because of that, because of the story that you can leave behind as legacy for your family. I mean, as far as music is concerned, also with regards to minting, now they're inscribing, which they used to back in the day when NFTs started to become what they are. They would inscribe on Bitcoin, and that's different. You're actually like so NFTs are links on an Amazon website. I learned recently, which people are saying it's volatile. It's not ethical. Now I'm like, I've minted 110 NFTs. Like I'm an NFT girl. I love them, but I'm going to listen also to what they're saying. These people, they're like, inscribe them so that you have the actual data that's uncorruptible on the blockchain using a Satoshi, and however many Satoshi make up one Bitcoin. Someone else says, well, what if somebody gets that Bitcoin? Are they going to own the art? So there's all these interesting things. There's something called EtherScan. No, not EtherScan. ETH Scribe is a new thing as well, with through Ethereum blockchain, that you can do essentially what Bitcoin is doing. But it's just, there's so much information, and I'm getting a lot of it on X. I'm not on any other platform pretty much. I mean, I'm on all the platforms, but I've been spending so much time in spaces, just listening to people talk about all these things and talk about how they're utilizing them. And so this ROBYN that you've been in, these live spaces, Maria, I wonder, would you consider doing a weekly show and talking about your work that you're doing? And would you be interested in revealing a little bit more every week as a curator, and building a fan base, a true fan base of people that are like kind of not a cult following, but a culture? Like it is a culture. Speaking of which, speaking of culture cards, ROBYN, why don't you tell us how you got into the culture cards, NFT project with Darkchild, with AKA Roddy Jerkins? I mean, how did that happen? That's huge.
It's a very interesting story, and I won't bore you with all of the details, Maria.
Okay.
Leslie loves it. We could sit here for 3 days and tell her stories, and it wouldn't matter. She would sit right here and starve herself to death and wouldn't go potty, the whole thing. Just
for you, I'll do the same thing. I get it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So first, let me say, I think that is a great idea, Maria, for you to have a show. One, because you have a lovely voice, and you have a lovely face and a lovely personality, and I think people would definitely want to tune in. I know I would, because I'd be all in your business. But
tell everybody about it. I'll tell everybody about it. Yep.
And if whatever we can do to help with that, trust me, we got you.
Yep.
Thank you.
The culture cards are they're digital asset trading cards. So just like baseball cards or Pokemon cards or whatever, they're digital trading cards that come with a certain amount of value. And when you on the gaming side of it, when you collect a certain amount of cards with a certain amount of value, they get you certain rewards. It's really just that simple. But the idea is that we're using the cards to basically do what you're saying, preserve the culture and the architects of the culture.
Uh,
And
So,
introduce people to legends that
and
have
introduce
already,
people to legends. Yeah, so like that's the benefit that you get. That's one of the many benefits, but that's the first one. But it's really about, you know, elevating the architects and giving them an opportunity to be memorialized in a way that they get to control. It's educating the people about who they are, and then educating the architects about how we're using their name, likeness, and their story to give them that historic landmark. And then we give back by sharing the opportunities with the community that's coming up underneath these architects. So it's really a great build and a great brand. That is the core of the project that brought me to the table through the culture tape. So they sponsored a project where they wanted to give independent artists an opportunity to be heard, because they are not being seen and there's nobody paying them any attention. And they're like great songwriters, great singers, great performers, you know, great personalities, and nobody knows that they exist because they can't compete with the other 100 million people that all want to play in the big show. So Rodney being the big name and the iconic producer that he is, also felt like, yeah, it's very difficult for me to find new talent because the pool is too big. It'll take me months to weed through all of the crap, or and not to call it all crap, but some of it is crap. To weed through the crap to find the diamond in the rough. So this gives an opportunity for that to happen in a more organic way, where they really have an opportunity to compete. And it's not really to be about a competition. It's for it to be a platform for you to show the artwork that you curated yourself. Like you stand behind the value of it, and then everybody else will see that. So very long story shortened, I have some artists that I'm working with in West Africa. And we were working on a music project. And when I found out about this, I wanted to get them involved. I felt like this is a great way for you to cross over to the global market and to be working with some stellar production that most people don't have access to because they can't afford him. So I went through the gambit to get them submitted in this competition, and inadvertently, and it's not really inadvertently, but I wasn't trying to participate in this competition. I just wanted to get them involved, and I ended up in the competition as well.
She had to do proof of concept, I suppose. Like, what's
so.
the protocol? What's the protocol? Speaking of
Absolutely.
protocol, and thank you, Robyn, for sharing that about the culture tapes. I'm excited. I bought one culture tape. I haven't even seen what it revealed. There's a bunch of people on it, including Chantel Lane. We got Rocky Too Grimy. We got who else do we got? We got
Big Pun. We got Teddy Riley. We got Rodney Jerkins. We have Akon. We have Exhibit. We have Trina. Man, I could just keep going on.
Fred Frenchie, the personality of a lifetime.
He's not on there. We don't want to see Fred Frenchie. No.
Oh wow! You heard
it
now.
We don't want to see his face. No, I'm just
you
playing.
Heard it now.
He's my bro. No.
All right, good. I was like,
not one of the cards. He's just the founder of the cards.
Yes, I was saying he's a voice of a generation. He's an amazing person who brought everybody together. I think, with his belief in all of you is how I have perceived it, and he has a great voice. So Spaces on X, on the Twitter, formerly Twitter, is an amazing place to build your brand. Maria, I wanted to ask you a quick question about the comic creator portion of your, like, you know, the things that you do. Could you explain more about the comic creator? Can you tell us?
Sure. Years ago, so I'm animated, and when you get to know my personality, you'll be like, yeah, she's very animated. I'm more, this is just, you know, for the show. My laid back is my laid back, and that's who I am. But a friend of mine said, you should be a comic character. You're so animated. And then I would pose for him. His name was Rollo Ledesma. And so then I said, wow, I really want to write a comic book, because I'm all about just really telling great stories. And that's why I became a filmmaker as well, Robyn, and Bessie knows this very well. It's just that to create really great stories from telling stories from our lens, right? And so I started this concept called Spear. she's involved with Black Ops, etc. She fights international crime around the world. She's a very intelligent woman. And I started to develop the comic. So in 2015, one of my writing partners, Frank Orfici, and we wrote the comic Spear together. So I created it. I edited it with him. We write together. And then we have this comic. So now, we're actually we could talk about this, I guess, but we're pitching it to a couple of studios, and they're going to turn it into a television series. So at one point they were looking at it as anime. I know, I'm so great.
Yeah.
I know, finally. But here's the funny thing. The comic did well, and it was going to get in a preview book. But really, the studios are not interested in a comic. They're interested in the story. So it's kind of like, so this is for me, just to keep it in the spirit of everything, is to really just bring new talent and new artists and new ideas in this current world into this type of comic and this story. So that way it can just broaden horizons. Like I was always that type of person when they would say to me, they're like, oh, okay, you're making this film. This is a Black film, because film is a director's medium. And I'm like, why do we have to do that? Like, why can't we just cross over and go mainstream? And why can't we have a more global platform?
Right.
So everything I do is very focused on a global platform. So even freestyle music, the legacy, it's not just about the fans and the artists, but it's a global story. Right? How many times have you seen a documentary and it may not be something that you're connected to, but you're just drawn into the goodness of it, or the story, or, the kind of like, whether it's the underdog, or, wow, I didn't know that this was behind it. Like, this is what occurred. And now you're really involved in this process and the story and the vision that the filmmaker is showing. So the comic has been just another great segue for me to write and to just get other ideas out there. Having a new platform of just showing like really solid female characters that are intelligent, that are forward moving, right?
You too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just keeping it right. It's just keeping it so, like making this the norm. I think the more we keep it the norm, the more people will understand it and be drawn to it. So, so Spears has taken on a new life, and we're trademarked. We have everything across the board that we're lining up. And again, it's just a positive message.
That's so exciting. I'm so excited for you.
I know, it's great. Thank you.
That's huge. That's huge. She just said it nonchalantly. She's like, yeah,
Oh yeah, by the way, you want to make a movie out of my shit,
I know.
Great. I tell you, I found my love of doing documentaries on pop culture, music, dance. There were a couple of things that I was trying to. Yeah, I just feel like I want to tell these stories, and I feel like I found my niche just by getting involved. Like, those were my bells, the things that I would visually see, and I would be so connected and moved to. And I'm like, I want to tell these stories, because one of the things that I always found is that films have such an impact, not just on culture, but on people's lives, on their ideas. And, we create them the proper way. We're creating a culture of people who can move things forward in a better place, like in a better direction than it was before. We've learned our mistakes, right? From our mistakes. At least we hope we learn from our mistakes. But that's really that's what the comic is about, and that's why I'm doing these film processes. And Spear's something very dear to me.
I'm glad I asked. I mean, that's gold. That's gold, Robyn. I'm like Maria SOCCOR.
I just want to be in it. I just want to be in it. I don't have to you don't need to see my face or nothing. That's okay. I'm fine. I just want to be a character, I'm a character. So
where's Robyn Charles? People just tune in to see, where's Robyn Charles? Oh, there's no Robyn Charles. Tune in next week. That's going to be our hook.
Let's go.
That worked.
Suddenly you'll hear this song on the radio, and wait, is that Robyn Charles?
Yeah.
You'll hear it. It'll be playing in the background, and then
right.
Like,
that's what. Can I tell you a secret, Maria?
Yes.
I have most of the music that I have cherished over the years came out of movies. They either came out of movies or they came from television, but ultimately, like, I'm a big movie head. I watch everything. So I would go and watch these stellar productions on the screen, and it was the music supervision and the way they scored the movie, or which songs and where they placed them, and I fell in love with it. That's why I got into publishing, because I just felt like, man, that I got the perfect song that would go in that spot. You know what I mean?
You have your own publishing company. Let's talk about that. Your publishing company, ROBYN Charles. What is the title of the? I'm looking at my notes here. ROBYN Charles. Charles and Company Enterprises. That's your publishing company.
It's R. Charles and Co. Enterprises, music publishing. Yep, like that. We dabble in all things music, enterprising.
Awesome. But I'm really hoping to get you to sing a cappella. We didn't talk about this ahead of time.
We didn't talk about this.
No, we didn't. We
stuff on people. This is.
Well, I just I'm in love with your voice. I'm in love with your songs. You're an epic songwriter. I mean, if you don't know, you know now. This woman here is an epic songwriter. She knows how to arrange music. She knows how to sing the music she arranges. And I'm a huge fan of yours, and your songwriting is amazing. So you don't have to sing, but I'm going to be singing at the end of the show because I have to write a song, because that's the concept of it. And so I hope that you'll give me a few words so I could write that song, because I'm going to want you to sing it.
Got you. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Why you keep springing stuff on me? I'm not prepared.
No, I know. No, we're not making any deals. Web 3, Web 4 is like, woo, let's go. Oh, yeah. Wait. Verbal agreement. No, I won't. I won't hold you to anything that you don't want to do. You just know me. I love to in the moment make it happen. So just thinking now, between the two of you, I feel like some big stuff. I don't know. I'm just feeling like some really cool stuff could end up happening with some.
I already feel
I don't know. I'm feeling it.
100%. I'm going to speak it into existence. What are we working on?
Everything, whatever you want.
Okay, I love that.
Whatever you want. That's what I'm working on. Tell me what it is that I'm working on, and I'm doing it.
I love that.
Let's go. Woo!
I love it.
I feel like, how lucky am I that I have you two here today? How did it even happen that you both of you were like, yeah, we want to hang out with Vessi. We want to meet each other. I mean, I think I know, because you're both legends, and I happen to be the conduit, and I happen to have this sweet little show. It's a little bitty show right now, but you know what? I want to give a big up to Richard Selwyn Barnett, because he's going to be my new,
Richard.
He's going to be my new co-host for a show called Rising Stars, presented by Music Train, and it's going to be an eclectic, pop-up series that's going to pop up here and there before Music Train, starting 1 hour earlier at 7 Eastern. On Sundays, and I'm just really excited. ROBYN, you've not met Richard before, I don't think, but I believe you will be meeting him. He is an iconic introducer, and he is a huge reason why I'm here today. I met Mr. Selwyn Barnett at Field of Dreams on Clubhouse, Consuelo Benson's space, and I heard him speak. Big up to Consuelo Benson, by the way, amazing person that I have to have on this show. And I reached out to Richard on LinkedIn. Because I heard him speak in Clubhouse, and Maria, when he speaks, you're like, who is this guy? Like the way that he he'll tell you. And speaking of stories,
he has great stories
that need to be gotten out there. I mean, this man has introduced me to so many people. I'm wondering to myself, now, how am I going to work with all these people he's introducing me to? So he's the co-host, and we created a new show essentially called Rising Stars. So I'm hoping you both will be on that show coming up, and I'm just super excited for you to meet.
Count me in. Richard is the king of introductions, and he knows how to connect good energy in people, and that's his thing. He can do anything in the industry that he wants, but he loves connecting people, and I think that's really important. What you're doing, what Richard does, and now meeting ROBYN like this, because at any other time, whether the cameras are on or not, this is who I am, and this is what it's going to be. And I think it's about us sharing our ideas and our work. I'm very, I love to share my ideas. I love to share the new tech things I'm working on. I've worked in AR, VR. I think for me, it's just about really just giving everybody a little bit of what you have, because we're all students of it. So if we act like we're so masterful and we can't really give back, then what are we paying forward? But that's going to be a really exciting show. And ROBYN, I can't wait to work with you, because I work on branded stuff. I work on films. I work on all different sorts of media. And I just feel like a really great synergy and something beautiful we're going to do together. I just know it.
I just want you to put me in your pocket, take me everywhere you go. It's simple.
Vice versa.
It's just like, I'm already in your pocket. Yeah, so we already going to be together. So you put me in your pocket, Wherever you go, I go.
We go. Okay. That's it. We got it on video now. So,
So
I'm
now
like, girl, remember when you said
right? Your shoes gonna get in my pocket. I'm gonna be like this. I'm gonna be putting my foot through the.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
Here I come. Are you ready? Are your jeans?
Hold her to it. Yes.
You gotta go get the big girl jeans.
You guys are gonna have to. You're gonna have to put out a denim jean company now called In Your Pocket Films.
That's it. In Your Pocket Films, In Your Pocket Publishing, In Your Pocket Movies.
Period.
Meaning it's in your pocket. Like
one leg
no
in
worries.
your pocket
There
trying
it is.
to get the other one in. That's what it's gonna be. It's a great logo. People are gonna not understand it, but it'll be cute.
All right.
Okay.
I think that the truth of the matter is that we were destined to meet, and thank you, God, first and foremost, and to my parents that I get to be here with you. And I love strong women. Who doesn't? If you don't love strong women, maybe you need to go seek therapy. You know. I need a couple words from each of you, or one word, because I have to, the concept of this show was born on Connect Club, which is an app that's no longer, and we have NFTs, digital assets of all these songs that I wrote on the spot, coming from the perspective of the guests and our conversations, much like today, except we didn't do live streaming. Season 2 started live streaming on YouTube, and then this is season 3, episode 9.
I think you're going out, Vessie.
Yeah.
Right? Vessie, you're frozen, and I think you're going to have to repeat the last 2 minutes.
That is going to be interesting.
Yes.
I would like to be a fly on the wall to see her do her again. In the rapid speed she does stuff.
I know.
She has no idea that it's happening right now.
She doesn't.
Yeah. Can you hear me, you guys?
Oh, there you're frozen.
Optimization. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you,
but you were frozen. Yeah, you should see. I want to take a picture of this because this is hilarious. No, you're not. You're not in the screen.
I see Robin. We're good, but you're frozen, and you went out for a second.
It's okay that we're frozen. I think that let it go. No, just kidding. Okay. Well, I need a word from each of you for this song that we're gonna write. And I just sent you the photo of all of us frozen so that you know I'm being serious in the chat. Robin, what's your word, my sister? Or 2 words or sentiment?
My sentiment.
Culture.
Yeah, my word is culture. My sentiment. Is she gone? She is. I knew it. Like she's I figured
gone.
She was pop out. Yeah.
Okay. So welcome to Music Train. I'm Maria SOCCOR, and
that's right. I'm Rob Charles in Maria SOCCOR's pocket. So that's so bad in so many different ways, right? Like we're so corrupt. No, it's not. Like literally, I'm just trying to go along
in
with
your
her
pocket productions.
Right. I love it. It would be good. Like I came up with this idea the other day. Talking to my mom about the name of a restaurant, and I told her what I had, and I had a bunch of Southern soul food, and she was like, "Oh, well, yeah, I had salmon and asparagus," and I was like, "Oh, you had a bougie meal, huh?" My bougie kitchen. I was like, that would make for a great restaurant title, and she was like, "Really?" She said,
"Bougie kitchen."
Right, would have to be bougie. I was like, nah, it can all be regular stuff that you give a bougie name. And I was like, like flour crusted chicken. And she was like, no, you'd call it chicken LaFleur.
Almond with shaved almonds and a hint of saffron sizzle.
I'm talking about in this fried chicken with 20 saccharies on it.
And you and I would go to that restaurant. We say, this is fried chicken.
This is fried chicken.
This is fried chicken.
Exactly.
But oh my goodness.
How did we get to fried chicken? I missed it.
Oh, we just took over.
I was in her pocket.
I got kicked out of my own room. I don't know why.
I know. You never let the inmates run the asylum, and we did.
Oh, I'm glad you did. I don't think there's two people I'd want more to run it.
You sure?
Right.
Yeah, I think you guys are. I think I just judging from today how today went. I think that my girls, you guys are amazing. You're both so amazing. Okay, before I get kicked out of the room and the show ends, I would like to do this song. You guys make sure that you go follow Maria SOCCOR at I am Maria SOCCOR on Instagram. Also her website, which is let's see here,
www.mariasoccorproductions.com without the 800 number.
Yeah, and Robyn Charles on Twitter at Robyn L as in love Charles on I'm sorry, X, formerly known as Twitter. There's new music coming out. There is new digital assets coming out. There is a weekly show that Robyn Charles does called Culture Radio every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern on Spaces on X, formerly Twitter. You have to come in there because they're playing music for the culture. If you know it, that means then you know. If you don't, you have to come by and check it out so you can find out. And I'm Vessie Mink of Music Train, and this is a song I would like to write on the spot for my girls here, my sisters. All right, I need 2 words. I need a word from each of you.
Okay, I think you were doing the first word, right? What kind of word do you need?
Any kind of word that you would like me to write a song about. But Robyn, did you have your word? I believe you had said culture. Is that the word?
I did say culture.
Okay. All right. You want to give one more? 2 words? Or do you want to tell me? Do you want to color it with a feeling? And then I'll just write something from that too. You guys could also. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Culture and love.
All right. All right. I got it. Okay. Maria?
I was going to say kaleidoscope, but I'm messing with you.
No, that's fine. No, I like it. I like it. Okay.
All right.
It's terrible. I'm done.
I knew I was going to love you. I knew it.
You know, some people have told me sandwich, just so you know. Like, some people have said, like, you know what I'm saying? So if that's the word, kaleidoscopes are beautiful. They see an array of colors. They're able to see all the distinction in the colors and how the light changes that.
I got to give you one more word.
Okay, kaleidoscope is one of them then? Just want to confirm.
Sure,
okay.
Kaleidoscope and...
Culture, love, kaleidoscope, and...
Silky, silky. But you got to say it that way. Silky, silky. Not silky, silky. Silky, silky.
Silky, silky.
Silky, silky.
That's
there
it.
you go. You got it.
Silky.
Silky,
Okay,
silky.
Silky, silky.
Maria, you're nuts. I love it.
Mute your mics, ladies. Oh my God. Silky, silky. Okay, good job. You got to mute your mic. No, maybe keep it on.
You're frozen again. Oh, I'll mute.
No, you don't have to. We're going to get shut down here. Silky, silky. Big up to Metaverse Generation, Mr. Buchan, and the Music Train. You know, Singapore, Australia, the US, and we're coming to a country near you. If you want Music Train in your world, definitely reach out to me at Vessie Mink everywhere. That's at VESSYMINK. And thank you again for tuning into the Music Train. Silky, silky. All right, here we go. What is the culture of love? Silky, silky. What is the culture of love? Tell me, baby, is it as simple as these 2 words coming through a kaleidoscope of dreams? Silky, silky. Yeah. All right, that's it, because I don't think I could do it more.
Woo! That's so great.
That was awesome. That was super dope.
You just blew my mind. I wish I recorded it myself.
I know, right?
You know, there's a lesson here.
It's such a lesson.
When you're in your space and in your peace, right? At any given point, you can create anything. And I'm not overthinking anything after this one. This one just did me in.
I want to know more about what silka means. What does that mean?
That's for episode 10, 11, or 12.
Okay.
This is amazing. How did you do that?
To get prepared for that answer.
How did you do that? You were in your vibe.
That is
Oh,
hilarious.
oh my
That's going
God.
to be the theme song for In Your Pocket Productions. That's what's going to play in the background.
That's one of the characters. She's
And can you
really.
imagine what the NFT is going to be?
She's made of
That's
silk.
me. I'm
She's
gonna
made
be
it.
silky.
She's made of silk. You know, a bunch of the little silkworms were boiled, and she became a superhero. All that energy out of the pot. You know what I'm saying? Like you just boiled like me and like
That's
generations of my, and then she becomes this silk. Silk is like this. She's like the silk.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I'm not overthinking anything. That's
right.
it.
Don't, not at all.
We love you. Come back again next week. Follow these two women, Robyn Charles in the studio, Maria SOCCOR. My gosh, are they amazing. Thank you so much for being here today. We'll see you guys next week. Take care. And don't forget to share this. Silk is silk. Here we go.